All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Midwest Mountaineering Outdoor Adventure Expo. With me virtually, I have the Superior Sendies crew. They're here to present on sea kayaking Lake Superior. Got a couple Apostle Islands guides as well. I've not personally met you guys, but hi in virtual land out there. Over at the OutdoorAdventureExpo.com site, we do have a chat box below the video player, so feel free to drop any questions in there for these guys, and we'll get them answered probably towards the end of the show. But without further ado, here's the Sendies crew.
Hey, thanks, Adon. Harris. Yeah. We are the Superior Sendies. My name is Ben Fontenot, and we have
Paige May and Jamiah.
And so, this started off as something just totally candid and for fun. I like shooting video and taking photos of all the kayaking that we like doing, and we're all kind of loosely sponsored by a few of the same companies as well. And so we just kind of like naturally started filming ourselves, and it just turned into this fun thing of like, we can really show people like what Lake Superior is all about. And funny thing is I'm not even from this area. I'm a transplant. I've been here for about 2 years, almost to the month. And so, these two guys here, they've been showing me around and have been kind of guiding me along the way, and I've just been filming. And so really, if it weren't for these two, Superior Sendies wouldn't quite be a thing, or wouldn't be quite as entertaining, that's for sure. So it's we've had 3 seasons now. We're on season 3. What I have put together is a short film. It's about 15 minutes long, and it just kind of goes through seasons 1 and 2 of kind of our favorite moments and episodes. So I think that unless you guys have anything to say about it, we can get things rolling.
Typical Lake Superior fashion, winds and the waves just kind of died off pretty quickly. So we've been kind of taking advantage of a little bit of exploration, and so just landed here in this little beach. It's like a private agate hunting beach.
Down here on like the Lake Superior end of stuff, just in from the beach, still unbelievably in the like snow melt runoff phase. None of this is rain driven. Mid-shore, it's still going, it's a good level, and like there's this fun little drop that's kind of like a little foam piling wave that when you know it, you can get on with some current signs nautilus. Good defined eddies and eddy lines for people that are new to paddling in current and longboats. That's what AJ's doing over here. She's just like sitting on the eddy line doing 360s. Yeah, Chattagooch Park, Shovel Point is to the east, Palisade Head is to the west. It's a pretty easy spot to access. I mean, maybe a 100-yard carry from the parking lot down to the beach. And then you just jet up the coast, past some gorgeous cliffs and little pocket beaches, and like here you are, Baptism River. It's pretty slick. When you're out doing this kind of stuff, it's like super easy to forget what's going on in the world, you know?
I know, it's like super therapeutic and meditative for me.
No lie about that.
Hey, I'm about to go surfing. I can't really talk right now. How's it going?
Boat on, really.
Yeah, your feet go slow.
We'll all just get on the water. We'll just be in the middle. You just start doing circles around us, and we'll start catching waves.
Okay, get on.
Go towards the middle of the wake, and then because it'll be big towards the middle.
You've only got like 5 seconds to get 20 feet over in position, and then you can launch.
No
You
pressure.
You missed it. And
That's the money spot.
yeah, right.
That is directly behind where the foam pile ends. Straight back.
There's a cave called the Dark Room. You used to be able to paddle through this little hole there. Out to the other side with the water so high now.
Okay, we're over here on Sand Island and the Apostle Islands. About to do a little crossing back to the put-in. See what a little bit of downwind action we can find today. Find some surf. Hopefully it'll be good.
You know, it's kind of hard to tell as this cruises through, like if it'll whip it up a little bit higher. You know what might be more likely is like we get into the middle of it and then it like picks up a bit.
Yep.
And there, I'm not concerned about like the wind and waves as much as like maybe like potential electricity. Because like once we like shoot out and on over, it's like we're fairly committed to like making that crossing.
So we're all just like posted up waiting in Paige's car for this thunderstorm to pass over us.
Welcome to Lake Superior Surf.
Yep.
Typical day.
What do you guys think the gusts are?
Oh,
30, 35?
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
3 to 5. Like I don't know that there's really anything much smaller than 3 out there. And that's all just like residual stuff. Like once the rain dies off and we get out here and look at what's like pumping into the beach, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're gonna be picking your jaw up off the ground. It's gonna be big out there. You can basically see the top of the swell on the outside of this shipping canal. Look at that, like over top of the freaking breakwater, you can just see the top of the swell rolling by. That's massive. I'm totally.
It's just a lake.
It's just a little. Oh, it's just a lake. Yeah. Where's my?
Kind of windy on shore here and a little windy out on the lake there, so hoping like it's gonna be a good time, but we'll see, right?
And we're here with correspondent Paige May on the North Shore. Paige, how are things looking?
Pretty decent. Looking pretty okay. Forecast said what, 4 to 6, occasionally 7. Flood Bay is always a lot bigger than it looks from the beach. I mean, any spot is, but particularly so here because we're really high off the beach, and the break is a lot farther away from where we launched than it looks like. So once you're out there, it's like it's gonna be good.
Ice cream headache!
And like, you know, the wind's supposed to be coming from somewhere like outer Apostle Islands area, so I think it'll be coming in here pretty decent.
Pretty good. No, man, the wind is like just pushy enough to help you get on the wave.
So excited. This is what I've been waiting for since I got back from BC at the end of August. A big winter surf.
the last bit of light, really, but pretty icy. Just a little cold, but absolutely gorgeous.
Use my fucking channel.
Paige is unclipping me. If anybody would like to come surf with us on Superior, we can even get you out of your equipment.
Channel locks.
Yeah, I feel like my 2 cents about just kind of like the Ben's intro thing, Superior Sendies and stuff. Like I got back from BC. I spent a summer out on Vancouver Island doing a little bit of sea kayak coach learning kind of stuff out there. And Benjamin that summer moved up here. And you know, we'd kind of been in contact via social media for a little bit. And then I got back and was like, all right, dude, like I got a hankering to get into some of my favorite Lake Superior conditions. And, you know, Jamiah and I kind of had like our go-to spots that we always went to. And some were kind of newer that we were like really getting to know well and whatnot. And we were wanting to take Ben out there. But then, you know, there's always been all these other spots that like I've always kind of wondered about. Oh, in these with this wind direction or this swell size, and like the river's really swollen with spring snow melt and whatnot. Like, what's it like out here? And Benjamin's just always keen to get out there and like try a new spot and see what kind of shenanigans we can get into. And so it's just like, all right, well, let's give her, you know, always kind of scouting new locations up and down the shore.
Oh, there you are.
So yeah, and like there's some pro whitewater paddlers that do like the senders. Their thing, and it was like, dude, like we definitely get Sendy on Superior, and it was like, well, there it is. It's like same bit different, you know. And it's like some like really rad paddling, and then like sound bites of them just like being absolute dudes, which is like a little bit of definitely a little. I mean, in my mind, that's what it came from. I don't know if we ever like had a conversation of like, all right, let's like copy them, but not really. But it just kind of became that, you know.
That's rad.
I mean, what else?
That.
Yeah. You know, it's got a nice ring to it.
I'm curious about like sort of like, you know, you guys talk about conditions and swells and things like that, and obviously you're really in tune with what the water's doing. It seems that way in the way you're talking about it, but like, are there certain times of the year where you're like, this is definitely the high season to be doing some of the stuff that you guys are doing? Like Superior surfing, like, you know, is predominantly pretty well known to be done in the winter.
Right, fall, winter, spring. It's kind of a 3-season as far as like your highest likelihood of getting like pretty good sized conditions. You know, on Western Lake Superior, obviously we look for like big nor'easters to build the largest, most mature swell.
Yeah.
Seems like the days that you want to spend indoors next to like the wood stove or just wherever it's cozy, those are the best days to be out.
Got it.
Surfing, pretty much.
That's like the most miserable days outside are the best on the water.
Yeah. So you guys are out there and like, obviously, you know, I know because I've seen some of your videos, but for those that may not know, and maybe saw a little bit of that video clip there, you're out there in sea kayaks. Can you guys talk a little bit about like sort of what kind of kayak maybe is suited to some of this type of surf that you guys are doing, or just talk about a little bit of some of the, you know, you're probably not out there in like a 12-foot kayak, I would imagine. That doesn't seem very safe.
Close.
A little bit longer, but
a little bit. Yeah. We're paddling these extremely, they're like thoroughbred surfing sea kayaks, or you know, where they're shorter length, 15 to 16 feet long, but they're still sea kayaks, and they have all the same safety features, being, you know, bulkheads front and back, and the balance stern, and deck line that runs around the perimeter of the boat.
Right? Yeah. Nice.
But you know, plastic or fiberglass, it doesn't really matter. They kind of come in all sorts of different materials, but yeah, they're pretty specialized.
Nice. Do they have any unique differences as far as like rocker or anything that really sets them apart, or like chines, anything like that?
Yeah, I remember when Paige and I started guiding and paddling in the lake and getting to surf. We were surfing our just normal touring kayaks, which was super fun, but you kind of get tossed around in a kind of unpleasant way sometimes.
Sure.
We switched over to these more hybrid style, kind of like sea kayaks designed for dynamic waters. It was like just the amount of control you had on the wave face was inspiring, and you're like, oh, I can actually go where I want to go now and get off the wave when I get off for the most part.
Night and day.
Yeah, you can surf in a touring kayak, but it's way more fun to be in one of these. Boats that are designed for dynamic waters. Yeah.
So you're looking for like a shorter sea kayak that has basically as much rocker as possible, and preferably a planing hole close to it. At least
all right.
The displacement hole.
Yeah. I would think too that like. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just about every higher end sea kayak manufacturer out there has at least one boat that's kind of like made for that. NDK, they've got a whole variety of boats that basically a size that'll fit every body size and shape on the planet. And then P&H, Valley has the Serona, I think, right? We paddle the current designs boats, like Sisu and Carla. Even the Prana, which is 17 feet. That was the first I had when they first started making these Danish boats. The first boat they released was the Prana, which is 17 feet, pretty narrow. The thing is faster than snot, hauls a ton of gear. I actually took one of their first demo boats and took a trip up on the Puckasaw Peninsula, which is about 150 miles, and it's the most remote stretch of coastline anywhere on all of the Great Lakes on Northeast Lake Superior.
Wow.
And the thing did awesome. And then later that fall, we took it to a small surf session just at Park Point in Duluth. And for a 17-foot boat, it has only 3 inches of rocker, but it's got a planing hull. And even that 17-foot boat compared to like Romany, My Valley Pintail, which is fun as all get out to surf, man, we catch these big swells and it's just like, oh my God, it planes right out and you can it's maneuverable, and it's lightweight, which is really cool because a lightweight boat is just so much easier to throw around in the surf, or even just to have that immediate acceleration when you take one or two paddle strokes. To have a lightweight boat that just gets up and goes is awesome.
And so I'd say within the last 10 years, the industry has taken a turn for these shorter, more day trip friendly touring boats. So it's become very accessible for anybody who's interested in trying to get out, and even if they're not trying to get Cindy and go surf and paddle in waves or current, they can still get a playful day touring sea kayak and go out and paddle on Lake Superior and go tour the Apostles, and it's pretty great. The designs are versatile enough that you can almost have one boat that can do it all.
Wow, that's that's awesome. And I think right now we here at the shop, and Ben, you recently worked here at Midwest Mountaineering. It's been a difficult thing to obtain for people is boats. With the pandemic, more people home, more people getting outside. We're all for that. That's our mission here, is to get people outside. And the few boats that we have left are those longer, bigger boats. It's kind of interesting. We cannot get our hands on any canoes at all, or any sort of wreck kayaks. It's like the 14 to 16 foot. We got maybe 3 or 4 left, maybe. And they're gonna go soon, I'm sure. But it's interesting to see sort of, at least to our customers, they grow with their gear. They maybe eventually get a newer, lighter boat or longer boat. They're like, okay, I've done enough, touring in my 14-foot boat. I want to go further out. I want to go to the Apostles, or I want to do, circumnavigate Superior, or whatever the case may be. And you do have to kind of upgrade into some of these more higher end boats with different trim and construction materials. Are you guys using fiberglass paddles as well for maximum just push and efficiency, or
carbon fiber?
Carbon fiber, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps it light too. That's great. Any
Super light.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. What so waves are coming in, you're surfing them. How the first thing I think of is like rocks and like rocks that you can see and rocks that you can't see. Like how do you explain that? How do you not crash into that stuff?
The rocks that you can see, you avoid them,
Yes.
and then the rocks that you can't see, you surf over
You surf over them, got it.
them. Yeah, I mean, I mean, quite often, if we're surfing around rocks, or I mean, I usually have to do a little bit of repair work on
Yeah.
most trips.
Oh yeah, you wear a helmet the whole time.
Wear a helmet, yeah, yeah.
For rocks and for other boats.
That's right. When the last trip that we were on, the latest episode from season 3, it's not on. We didn't get it on camera, but Jamiah, I almost took Jamiah's head off with my boat, just by accident, so like
It's like pickup stick with CPAC on top of the wave.
Yeah.
I was literally like sitting on his lap. If you can imagine, our boats crisscross, and
Yeah.
I'm like sitting on top of his lap while we're getting pushed backwards on a wave.
Oh my goodness.
There's a lot of adrenaline followed by some very meaningful eye contact.
Yeah.
Hello, yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. Are there I'm just pulled up this Beaver Lake Rapids sea kayak tide race surfing. Are there like competitive angles to this? I know there's always competition between friends, but
No, well, the only competition that I know about for this niche is one that happened out in the West Coast in Hoboken, Washington. And so, that's a surf competition they have out on the West Coast. But other than that, no, there's no competition in this. And even that, they call it a surf festival.
Sure.
So it's
Yeah.
hardly even a competition. in
Yeah,
that.
the Hobuck Hoedown, right? I see here.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's a cool thing though. All the proceeds from it go to the travel.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing little event. Canadians would all come down and surf with the Americans, and
Oh, nice.
it was all fun. So, but for what we're doing here, it's like we're just trying to like find the most. I mean, just like we're trying to find ocean conditions in a lake, and
In a
so
lake, yeah.
we're substituting groundswell and and tide with just like wind, basically.
Wind,
And,
yeah,
like,
wind,
storms. Yeah. And spring melt off. So we're like cooking with like, gosh, we're cooking with different ingredients where we're trying to like make the same meal, right? And so
right. That's a good analogy. Yeah.
In describing, it's like we're calling it a tide. It's not a tide race at all. A tide race is rapids that are formed from ocean currents from the tide,
Mhm.
where all we're playing around in is river current pouring into the lake.
Right.
Yeah.
Against incoming swell and over the shallow gravel like debris fan that's like out in the lake from the river. So there's like 3 different things that are like acting together to like pick up these waves.
Right.
And it's not your typical surf zone. We're not on surfboards, and so we're just looking for like a very unusual set of conditions. And
trying to find a line, and like you said, focusing on the conditions and maybe you're out. So let's just say you get to a spot and it's not doing what you maybe thought it was going to do, and you're kind of reading it, checking it out. You're like, well, maybe there was just a bit more wind in this direction, or maybe this time of year. I imagine that's maybe a lot of just getting back in the car, going to a different spot, or is it
Yeah, that's
kind of just like reconnaissance missions, just like really like
the last episode, Surfing with Gold Rocks. I've seen it. You can see that spot from Highway 61. You're like way up above it, like way high. But you can see it, and I've seen it multiple times.
with just massive residual swell from a huge
Yeah.
lake stream. I mean, we're talking like 8 to 10 foot swell
Oh, wow.
rolling over it, and it looks phenomenal. I mean, there's these huge, just like steep green waves that don't break and just roll past these rock piles forever, and it looks awesome. When we got out there to play in it for our first time, it was nowhere near that big, and we still had a lot of fun. But it was like, at that time, I was like, I just know that this place fires off
Yeah.
it in a completely different way when it's bigger swell. You can be a lot further from these rock piles and have these long, clean rides on these steep green waves that aren't even breaking, similar to like a flood bay, you know.
Oh, sure.
So it's like,
Yeah, it's what you're describing to Don. I mean, it's like, all right, well, we can either start north or south,
Yeah.
and like, well, all right, the conditions aren't looking great here. Let's drive 5 miles south and check out this next spot or this next point. And like, we're not limited to being only we can travel, we can hop in our boats and like, even if we can't directly access a certain point, we can get to it. And so like, that opens up our opportunity for finding different spots to go and paddle. A lot bigger than like, your typical like surfboarder.
Yeah.
But
are there any
I think-
areas around Superior that you haven't gotten? I know Superior's a pretty big place and it's bordered by
Oh my
another
gosh,
state in Canada,
yeah.
but there's got to be a lot of areas where you're just like, we need to get there now.
the whole North Shore. I mean, there's tons of spots. I've always wanted to do this kind of thing and get to know all of these different spots that could have some fun thing to play in just the right conditions, and get to know them well enough that I just know on any day in any conditions exactly what they're going to be like. And the Sendies is kind of like my reason to go out and do it.
And do it, yeah. Go and send it and see what happens. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, to give everybody like an idea of just like, we feel, it feels like we've been like finding all these cool, places that maybe not too many people have paddled or documented paddling or whatever, but we have only explored around from the Apostle Islands area, from the Minnesota North Shore area of like Duluth to Silver Bay, like Tattagouche Park. I mean, like, so it's like a very small little area, so we're like we're like fiending to go up north and like explore like bigger watersheds and try to find some maybe rowdier, funner, maybe slightly bigger conditions. I don't know.
I'm watching. I might have a video playing. I have the North Shore Holy Water playing over here in another. I'm just in awe at how well you guys move these boats. I can't even tell who's paddling right now, but just like it just looks like just turning on a dime, and it's a lot of control. A lot of core, I would imagine. I love this bubble shot.
A lot of core work.
Yeah.
And, you talk to a lot of people who are new to paddling, and they think it's all like shoulders and like, oh, my shoulders are going to be sore tonight. I'm like, well, if they are, you're paddling wrong. Like,
they've probably been sitting in a wreck boat with a huge cockpit. Their whole life, and they're just like pizza.
It's really hard to get proper body positioning in a wreck boat. You're just the way the outfitting is in those boats. It's hard to really properly engage your core muscles.
Yeah,
like you really need to be, locked into a sea kayak to really engage
for sure
as much potential as you can.
Yeah.
Totally.
Just quickly going around the room, bench shaft or straight shaft for the paddles?
I'm a bench shaft.
Yeah,
I like straight shaft. Yeah,
straight shaft.
Either or.
Just curious. I'm watching the clips here and seeing a couple differences.
I tend to paddle bench shaft, but I mean, I don't have a problem with either one, and it really depends on like what make and model. Like, not everyone's bench shaft is the same bench shaft, and there's plenty of people that just like can't handle a bench shaft or crank shaft or whatever from one brand paddle making company, but then another one like they don't have any issues. So whitewater paddle straight shaft, and it's great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
wildly situational.
Paige is usually in the purple dry suit.
Okay.
And I'm usually in the green, and not to make it any easier on you guys, but Jamiah is usually in a purple dry top that matches Paige.
I just saw someone
So
cruise
am
by
I.
in a purple
Yeah.
dry top.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But
I've got the boat with the red hull.
yeah,
I
just
have
love
a boat with the
boats, yeah.
tangerine hole, which is almost like
It's
red,
almost
but a
red.
little
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
and then don't get confused my white decked boat with his white. It's don't worry about who's paddling what.
Yeah.
It looks like you're
Yeah.
you're shooting a lot of the stuff with the GoPro, right?
Yeah.
You're shooting a lot of stuff with like a helmet mounted GoPro.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So me and Paige will have the GoPros on our helmets, and then if I will also shoot with like a DSLR, and so a lot of that stuff, these two guys get the spotlight on that, and it allows me to just kind of like focus on just like getting the like buttery smooth, or well, I mean, as smooth as I can.
Yeah,
when the wind's blowing like 25 miles per hour, like blowing your lens around, but. So it's funny. I think it might be episode 3. We were paddling in some of the biggest conditions I think we've ever really been in Superior Entry in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Just right across the from Duluth. And I went out onto the breakwater to film these guys. Which it was a pretty good idea.
He's like, I need you to surf right here, and I'm like,
so like, my camera just got totally soaked while filming some of that.
Yeah.
And so like that's led to it being in repair, and so like I've had to become a little bit creative. I'm basically filming everything on season 3 with my cell phone.
Oh wow.
And on GoPros at this point.
Yeah, I'm watching that episode here, the Warm Lake. Is that the one?
Oh gosh, yeah,
was that the winter?
That was the winter one.
Yeah,
Like,
the
you
winter
hit
sea
December,
kayaking, frozen
there's
waves.
fresh snow.
Yeah, it's
it's
wild looking. Just I mean the volume of water, but then just seeing all the trees covered in snow, and it's such a
It's gorgeous.
it's a nice juxtaposition.
It was big, and like that was the first time that I had ever paddled in like winter cold conditions. And like, just so that everybody knows, I'm from the South, from Savannah, Georgia. And so like that was like the first time I had ever paddled in like conditions where like the water temperature was like significantly warmer than the air. Icicles are forming, and like I get off the water, and like Paige knew the deal. He knew us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have been frozen until all of my gear. It's pretty funny, but
that was a fun one because I think the air temp was hovering right around like 29, 30, 31 degrees. Just icicles. But it was in December, so the still fairly warm then. I'm only the top 10 feet at most of surface water on Lake Superior ever warmed up, and that warm water blows around with the prevailing winds. So when you get a big northeast, all the warm water on the lake is blown against shore and down towards the Duluth. So the surface temp was like 50 degrees. I mean, it was warm water.
Wow.
With 30-degree air temp. So
Lake Superior one.
I don't know. It felt colder to me, but
you haven't acclimated yet.
I'm used to like paddling in like 60-degree water. So
yeah, when you grow up paddling on Lake Superior, your definition.
Wild, yeah.
That's that is the.
You're showing the tool clip here with getting the jacket off. Yeah. That's awesome. So what's next for you guys, other than just like continuing to find these, expanding your search? Like, I mean, what's other than just continuously paddling? What else is on tap for you guys?
I mean, like, I think we're all 3 like sea kayak guides who are kind of like doing and kind of like moving on to like different things at this point. And so like we all love like doing the Superior Sendies stuff, but in reality, it's like what we do for fun.
Yeah.
Guiding, and we still coach and do some instruction here or there privately, but like for the most part, like this is literally just us filming ourselves, having fun, and going paddling for what we enjoy doing, you know. And it's like, and then it all kind of goes back around to like, I think it's like super fascinating and fun that we're doing this on Lake Superior. And so like, I'm like, all right, well, we gotta film this and like share this, because being from the Atlantic, I never even considered the lake. I mean, like I'd like fly over and go to the West Coast and like totally didn't even consider it. But some of like the best paddling I've done in North America has been on Lake Superior. I mean, like it's amazing. I mean, it's like we can. I mean, it's like part of me is like, let's not tell everybody, because
Yeah,
like
right,
it's like, you know, it's like we got this place all to ourselves, you know. And like, and that's like, you know, saying this to the audience of Midwest mountaineering and like everybody in Minnesota and Wisconsin and, you know, the Midwest, like, you know, we've got quite, you know, this like little gem that
Yeah, you know what I love about this too is that, you know, it's like it's a sort of a small niche, at least from my perspective, and you know, I think Ben, before you came and worked at the store, like I didn't really know much about kayak surfing. We sold some, we had some boats in the store. I can't remember what they were called. They were white. They were really long, had a weird name, but they were like the sit on top, like surf
surf
skis.
skis.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
epics.
like epic.
Yeah, we had some of those. Our buyer brought some in, and we were like, "What the heck are these?" Because they just look so different. They kind of had like a kind of a bathtub, kind of sit on top kind of seat with like carbon fiber, like gas pedals. They looked really fast, and you know, we were trying to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they look really fast. We were trying to figure out, you know, like none of our staff had ever paddled them, so we're like, how can we sell these things if we haven't even paddled them ourselves and experienced them? And we didn't bring in that many, but they sold. And then as soon as they were gone, we would get tons of calls. As soon as like that one item is gone, it's like, hey, do you guys have surf skis? Do you have surf skis? And we're like, what? Where's this coming from? So like there is interest out there. And as we were talking earlier about like the Hobuck or just kind of you know, how that is just more of a festival. I would love to see something like that up on the North Shore. You know, we used to have like the Two Harbors Kayak Festival that I used to attend,
Oh yeah.
and all these things like that. You know, and even the whitewater crowd, you know, the Lester River, and just all these places. And so I hope we can get back to some of that, because I've had some of my best times on the water, just watching other people run and experience and seeing them just like going down for their first time or 100th time. It's a blast.
Yeah.
So I would love to see
I mean,
that again.
don't tempt me, Adon. I mean, like,
That's exactly what I was doing.
like, you know, like Flood Bay is just like begging for something like that, right? Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I will
and,
do what I
you
can
know,
if I with the help and the resources I have here at Midwest Mountaineering. But I can definitely like, you know, get some people together and have a talk about this. You know, because I think
yeah,
I think it'd be awesome.
yeah. I mean, it could be kind of a spectator sport. I mean, like it's quite fun to like go out and watch people get for if not anything but for the carnage.
Oh yeah.
Right, exactly.
You know, I mean, like
it's
you know,
we're the kind of people that it's like if we have people that we're gonna watching us to see that, then, like, we're gonna try extra hard to.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, this is in no way any sort of comparison, but I have definitely watched like surfing on TV because it's just on, and I'm like, this looks awesome, especially when they're doing like the big wave, you know, out in Hawaii or whatever. It's like, and to see even like the warm lake episode with the snow, and it's like, what? People are out there kayaking in winter? It's like that's just like, I mean, I know that I've lived in Minnesota now for most of my life, but there's people all around the country that would just be blown away by that. So thanks for your willingness to share it and get out there and doing this. It looks awesome.
And
I wanted to ask, like, if someone's interested in like kind of maybe pursuing this a little bit, what are maybe some good resources or good links? Obviously, I dropped in the YouTube page there for your guys' stuff, but is there anywhere else or somewhere else could go to get some helpful advice?
One-on-one instruction.
yeah, that's
Find an instructor.
find you know, they can find a good instructor. I if I'm fine with like lending out my, some of my contact info. Like people can, kind of like they can visit my website bfpaddles.com, and kind of use that as like a staging point. It's my traditional kayak paddle website, but from there it has my contact information, and that'll kind of, you'll have contact all three of us, as well as
Cool.
some people in the greater area. But there are resources like clubs in the cities that people can join, and that can be a really great way to try out boats, meet people, learn some skills, and kind of like cut your teeth just a little bit before you like hire somebody like us to do some like personal coaching, and like
Sure.
or to like help you like curate gear, right? Like that can be kind of like a tricky thing to pick out, and it's like,
Yeah. It can be a lot of wasted dollars, kind of, in a sense.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
we can just tell you like, this is what to get if this is what you're interested in doing. We can kind of take some of the guesswork out. But like, going to outfitters like Midwest Mountaineering, there are some great sea kayaks there, right? There are boats just like what we paddle sitting in the store right now. And so I think, that would be a great way to start.
There's some symposiums too. You can check
Yeah,
out,
absolutely.
CPAC symposiums,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the
Definitely.
Gales.
Yeah, I mean,
Gales,
there definitely has to be
yeah.
a basic knowledge base for someone who's going to get in a sea kayak in Superior, or really in any body of water. There has to be basic fundamentals. But I think, like you said, cutting your teeth and then going to get some specific instruction for a specific type of thing is probably the best way to get that person there.
Yeah.
They're going to be able
There's
to
the
send
Great
probably a
Lakes-
lot faster going with some one-on-one instruction than maybe just try to figure it out themselves, or
Right.
try to.
The Great Lakes CPAC Symposium is earlier in the summer.
Yep.
Over in the Lower Peninsula of Michigan, is it?
Yeah, most of the symposiums on Superior happen in the UP.
Okay.
So they happen in some pretty stunning venues, and we Paige and I have done some smaller weekend long events where we, it's not a symposium by any means, but it kind of gives people an opportunity to sign up with their friends, and kind of like we get an Airbnb, and it's
Focus more towards like rough water.
absolutely, it's definitely more tailored for like, if you want to have like, Superior Sendies kind of experience, if that's like what you're interested in, like that's kind of what we're
Rad.
specialized in, like providing. But I think if you like twisted these guys' arms hard enough, they might take you into the Apostle Islands as well.
Wonderful place to visit. I would always have to make a stop at Tom's. Gotta visit Tom's.
Tom's burnt out.
Yeah, Tom's burnt out. Can't not
yeah,
go to the
cool.
Apostles without making a stop at Tom's. My friends have a place on Madeline. I can't remember the name of it now, but they have a little hotel and a restaurant, the Farmstead, right off the dock there.
Okay.
So if you're ever there, plug for Gip and Laura in there. But they have a great business there.
And I guess another resource to throw out there real quick, we have a Facebook page for Superior Sendies.
Oh, nice.
And I believe I think it's just as simple as like facebook.com/Superior Sendies.
Okay.
And so that's like another easy way to just kind of like click like and kind of stay up to date, and
Awesome.
and easily get in contact with us.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I just dropped that in there. All right. Let's see here. By the way, that's probably my favorite current design shirt. Is that the CDB one?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. That's one of my
C-
favorite
CD.
shirts they've ever made.
Yeah.
It's so good.
CBD or CDB.
CDB.
Current design boats.
Boats. Superior Sendies. I've already liked this a while ago. That's right. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. It would be fun. It would be fun to do you know, I mean, part of getting to know all these kind of new surf spots or rock garden spots or whatever, like the tide race, river mouth kind of stuff. I feel like almost every time we're out at a new spot, it's like, man, like in these conditions, this would be a really awesome spot to like run like whatever kind of course and like bring some people out and teach. Even Flood Bay on like a medium size it's got to be the most beginner friendly place anywhere on Lake Superior for people like trying to get into surf.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because the launch, just because of like the way everything works in Flood Bay, it's a super easy launch. And even with surf, like, yeah, it's all technically pushing towards kind of a rocky shoreline, but no joke, like we're good paddlers and we have to try really hard to stay on the wave all the way up to where we're at the rocks. Like it's not dangerous. It's hard. And if you end up swimming out there, you're just like you're way offshore, you just in swell, people will rescue you. And there's like kind of a smaller break zone, and then you kind of work your way out farther and farther and closer to this shoal where it gets really big, like ocean barrel style waves. And you can you can like dial in exactly what level of challenge you want, you know. So it'd be fun to be able to offer courses or run some kind of a symposium kind of thing. But it's like it's the kind of thing on Lake Superior where you have to be ready and able to just drop everything at a moment's notice and get up here when the forecast is looking good, because who knows? I mean, we kind of watch it like a hawk. You can watch the open lake forecast for waters way out in the middle of the lake, and that goes out for like 5 or 6 days.
Oh,
you
nice.
can kind of see stuff like crystal ball style, like, this might end up being something. And then when it's 3 days out, it'll show up in the near shore forecast for waters within 5 nautical miles of shore. And you can see with any real certainty, like, oh yeah, this is going to be a thing. Like tomorrow is going to be 5 to 7 foot northeast. And like these guys brought their boats. We're going to go play somewhere. Awesome. We might as well, you know?
I like that sort of being able to, I mean, Ben, I think I remember you saying when you were transitioning to move up to the north that you're like, I need to be by the water that I want to paddle, more or less. That was kind of like, and being able to, and having the flexibility to drop everything at a moment's notice and or have the tools available to go send it is just awesome. So I'm glad that you guys have that space and that time available for you guys. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like we're like, gosh, we need to like, how do we like set up a program so that people aren't like, you know, feeling like they're like throwing money at at like conditions that aren't reliable. And it's like, God, like, do we just have like a subscription where like you like allow us to have an alarm so that when Paige is like, it's happening, we can just like tell you to like, all right, time to come up and
time to come up. Yeah.
You know, it's like, how do you predict it that far out? And so like, besides using NOAA, the open forecast, the near lake forecast, and then windy, you know, we really like using windy, that breaks down, the wind direction, speed, and also some of the fetch, which is kind of the distance that wind is traveling over the open water, which is going to play a big role in the wave size and period. And it might also tell you wave size as well too on windy, but
they do a little bit. That's how accurate they are.
I don't usually pay too much attention to it.
The wind is the most, like when you're trying to forecast Lake Superior, even if you're trying to do like a tour, like a trip in the islands or wherever, like the wind is really what you want to watch out for. A lot of a lot of motor boaters and people are, they get real gripped about waves. And they're like, waves in sea kayak, they're pretty manageable. So the wind that's the really important factor in the whole deal. So like learning how to read the wind and the wind patterns, and that gives you a pretty good idea of where things are happening
it's funny. So Adon, I was working at Midwest when we were going to surf in the warm lake when it was in the middle of December, and I did not have the day off. I actually had to had somebody cover my shift so that I could go up and paddle that day. I remember that.
Yeah, I think I kind of remember that too. I think I think you actually I think you asked me about it and you're like just kind of like checking in. I was like, yeah, the shift's covered. Go have fun. Yeah, just like yeah. I mean, it's like
That's always a bummer guiding. Like you'd be guiding these overnight trips in the islands. Perfect storm would hit in the middle of summer, which is pretty rare. It's like warmish water and like summer and beautiful surf. You're like, yeah, but I have to go cook dinner for 6 people on this Sunday trip, which is fun. But it's like at the same time, you're like, God dang it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some days you guys have missed that just weren't able to get out, and you're like, God, still thinking about it.
I've had a small handful of pretty good surf sessions out in the islands while guiding a trip.
Oh yeah,
cool, nice.
For one, it was like, all right, I'm gonna make you guys coffee and breakfast, and then you can watch me go do this thing.
That's great.
Or you guys are all learning how to surf today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're learning how to surf lunch because that's the only way off this beach.
Yeah. My guide experience, if I'm surfing, that means that everybody else is surfing, and I'm not so keen on that.
Follow me down this line. It'll be fun.
Yeah. So like,
capsize, just swim the shore.
Yeah. It's like hiring a climbing guide. It's like,
yeah.
I got you. It's cool. That's awesome.
It's all good.
Cool.
hang on to your boat, I'll come pluck you out.
Yeah. Well, I definitely have to brush up on some of my my sea kayaking skills, but this looks awesome and looks super fun. It sort of seems like a very almost like a roller coaster, and I love roller coasters. So I would love to maybe get up there one of these days and try some of this myself.
Well, if anything, Adon, I think it'd be a lot of fun to take somebody out in a tandem. In the front who has a mild understanding of what's going on.
I'm free that day.
And like, so that I can be like, all right, just lean forward. And then like, I can like control everything and like take somebody on a ride. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm free that day. Let's do that. That sounds awesome.
Take a tandem whitewater boat out.
Yeah. I don't think we don't have anything here at the shop, but yeah, we could find something.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't be an issue.
I have access to one.
We
know people.
We know people.
We know people. Cool.
No.
That's great.
So does anybody have any questions or?
Not seeing any questions in the chat box. I think it's just been a hangout session for us here a little bit. I've been dropping in the links just in case, because there's like a click to join chat box, and people actually have to click and then I can see them, but I always get like a analytical report at the end of how many viewers are actually watching, but I just can't see them. But if you're out there and have a question, drop it in. I got the Superior Sendies crew here talking about sea kayaking and surfing on Lake Superior. Pretty wild stuff. And I don't know that we have much time left, maybe another 5 minutes or so. I did drop a link in there to BF Paddles, a clip from Superior Sendies, kind of I think I shared the main page.
Cool. Yeah, it's pretty easy to find. Like the Facebook page has everything. The YouTube page has everything posted. The only thing you won't find is the premiere of the film that I was trying to show. That's not public, but it has nothing that has not already been.
Got it. Okay. Shared. Well, if you want, and I don't know, I can maybe get that over to Brian, and we can somehow incorporate it into the video link or whatever. But we can talk about that after.
Sounds good.
Cool. Question: do these boats or the boats that you guys like to paddle, do they have skegs?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't use them.
We don't use them, but they're there. Yeah.
They're there. Yeah.
Generally, I'm pretty sure my skeg is jammed right now with a bunch of little pebbles.
Yeah.
So I gotta go pick those out.
Clean it up. Yeah. I'm just watching a little clip here of the Hobuck Hoedown in 2018. Watching guys just like carving just like all this really long waves. Beautiful.
Learn how to edge your boat. You don't need a skeg.
It's amazing just to see how, I mean, sometimes when people are here in the shop and they're looking at boats, they're, why would someone want a bigger kayak or this or that? And I sometimes use the analogy of like, smaller, shorter kayak is going to be more maneuverable. It's going to be like your Minnehaha Creek boat or a little backwater, bass fisherman kind of thing. And sometimes I say like, these longer boats, it's like you might need a longer turning radius, like a semi. And after seeing these videos, that doesn't really hold true because these things turn on a dime. Like watching just like you can literally just sit there and do like 360s basically. It's wild. So it's
They're
really
so
kind of changed my
safe.
my perspective watching you guys and whoever is in this particular video just really just kind of manipulating these boats with the use of the water and the edge of the boat. It's wild. It's so cool to see the level of control. It seems kind of out of grasp for me, just because I don't do it every day, but it's wild. It looks awesome.
The boats have come a long way, and I mean, like, there's some skill there, but like, the boats have been made to be put on edge like that. I mean, like, I like to say, somebody how to turn their, see the fancy edge turns and stuff like that. I mean, we can teach you how to do that. It's not hard. It's all very attainable. Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty shocking to see somebody like spin their 16-foot long boat around in like 2 strokes.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, Ben, you might have to get one of them underwater cameras like the surfers use.
That's right. Yeah.
Get them half shots,
Shoot.
Watching this clip, I'm like, this guy's just gonna get smoked by this kayak, and he hasn't yet.
Man.
So what happens someday.
Cool.
There's a few close calls in that video. He had to duck quite a lot.
And I'm watching these waves, and it's kind of a tighter shot, and I'm like, it's hard to tell how deep it is, but every once in a while you see him like stand up. I'm like, oh, it's like waist high water,
It's so it's always funny, like, so for like, everybody has like their own opinion on like wave size, and like I'm gonna, everybody that came from the Great Lakes down to the coastal area that I'm from in like Savannah, Georgia, they'd always talk about paddling in like 8-foot seas. Okay. And like we'd always just like laugh at them. It's just like, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. 8-foot seas. It's just like, you guys, like, that's huge. I mean, like, it's like sit on the floor and then look at your ceiling, and that's that's an 8-foot wave.
Wow. Yeah.
And like, but it's and it's funny, like most of the time, and even in the Pacific Ocean, right? Like those waves you're watching those guys surf on, they might be like 3 foot tall.
Yeah.
And in a sea kayak in these boats that we're in, I mean, like, I'd say like a 6-foot wave would be like pretty ideal. Like that's a sporty big wave, and like, but for a surfboarder, that's like maybe chest high.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just funny. The perspective's all different. And so like when you sit down in your kayak, you can take some kind of like mild conditions that might not look all that exciting, but that 1.5 foot tall wave is actually like almost head high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really
so
yeah, that's wild. Yeah, that's so cool.
You watch the video clip later and you're like, oh, that's so windy.
Yeah, it never translates that well. Yeah, I mean that's a trick there is and I think having that POV perspective might helps in that scenario.
It does, but man,
even then it's
what's the name of the episode when we were in Superior?
That's called All Gale Gitchy Gumi.
All Gale Gitchy Gumi. That is it's classic example of there is no way that you can adequately portray how big it is, because that was 16 to 18 foot swell.
Wow.
It's like a house coming straight at
you. Yeah.
And you can tell in the video, you can tell like, oh, that's big. But when you're actually in a sea kayak out there paddling it, it's like, sweet mother of mercy. These are mountains of water.
Yeah.
Coming at
you. You're literally paddling uphill. If you don't paddle, you're not going up the wave anymore. It's
it's hard
like, to feel that.
Biggest conditions I have probably of paddle it, like biggest swell, like non-breaking ocean like sea conditions. paddled in. Just
Yeah.
in outside of Duluth, Superior and
Wow.
Wisconsin.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
But-
What was the name of that episode? The
All Gale Gitchigumi.
I'll get you. Got it. I'm just checking out the playlist here. Probably gonna go down to Superior Sendies marathon here when I get home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah,
Love
you-
that.
That was some of the strongest wind, I think.
Oh.
Any of us have had.
It was
That
like 40 knot.
30 to 40 knot. It was wind. It was still building.
Mhm.
Like I had to give it my all just to paddle forward.
Mhm.
That, you know,
Yeah, I could take my paddle and like lean into the wind. The
Uh-huh.
wind was like it would like hold you up.
Oh wow.
You paddle outside of the like break wall of the lighthouse, and like you can barely see, but I mean like you get past it and then you get 40 plus knots of wind hitting you broadside, and yeah, it's
Wow. That's awesome.
felt like it just wanted to like pull you over.
Yeah, no kidding.
You're only edging one direction. Don't
Yeah.
let anybody fool you. You're only direction. You're only edging into the wind when
Into
it's
the
that windy.
Makes sense. Well, I just want to say thanks, guys. We'll try to figure out that tech issue. I'm not sure what was happening there, but I did share the title page to the YouTube for Superior Sendies, so be sure to click on that, subscribe, follow these guys, keep in touch with all the shenanigans that I'm sure are going to be happening this year. I just want to thank all of you very much for your time, your knowledge, and willingness to share it. And if you're interested in learning how to surf some water in Lake Superior, check out Superior Sendies. Send an email to BF Paddles. Connect with these guys, and they can get you set up and help you get there a little bit faster, I think, too. So, navigating the kayaking world can be tricky if you're just kind of starting out. So, oftentimes having a mentor or guide or someone that can kind of help you understand certain things, I think can help just educate the people a bit better. So I think that's the whole point of our store, really, is to kind of help people get outside and keep them interested and keep them going with good gear at good prices. And I think having presentations like this and some of the other ones that we've had during our expo is super helpful in that mission. So thank you, each of you personally, and I think now might be a good time to sign off. And
Good. Well, thanks for having us. It's
Yeah.
been fun.
yeah, I'd love to do more of these kind of, even though this maybe was a bit more informal. I like it. There's a paddler, Kevin Callan, Canadian, Callan. He does these really interesting YouTube shows called Whiskey Fireside Chats, and this kind of felt that way. I had a LaCroix. I wish I had an IPA. I'm a little hungover today, but check those out. They're pretty fun. I could see you guys doing something like that with other surfers around the country and things like that.
That's cool.
So
I'm gonna check
yeah.
that out.
Yeah, I think his page is Casey Happy Camper, but he does these whiskey fireside chats. Super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
cool. Well, on that note, we'll log off and say goodnight.
All right.
Thank you guys. I hope to meet you two in person, and Ben, I hope to see you again very soon.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll bring him by the store sometime when I can
Oh,
get him
please
down
do.
there.
That'd be great. Please do. We'll fire out in the boatyard, maybe have some burgers and brats and stuff.
Yeah.
One of the
Awesome.
side effects of
Take
being
care, guys.
is We love talking about it. So.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. And and hopefully, I mean, so my hope is that we can maybe have a tent for the expo this fall. We'll see how things go. I think the state is kind of, maybe using the state fair as kind of an indicator of maybe having events, but maybe having you guys come down and do an in-person presentation might be kind of fun, and it would really tie in well with the upcoming winter paddling season up there.
Yeah, I mean, like we're like just getting started. Like
Yeah.
we're like, I mean,
It goes until the water's hard.
yeah, I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
Which on the North Shore is not
It's
that
never-
often.
I know.
Not that often, right? Yeah, you got all the beautiful ice shingles crashing up there and stuff. So yeah, let's stay in touch, and I look forward to see what you guys are up to. Thank you so much again. Have a good night.
we'll see you this winter.
All right, take care.